stand, join me in the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call please.
Chair Garza,
Here.
Member Garcia. Here. Member Morrow.
Here.
Member Reed.
Present.
And Vice Chair Durwal is absent.
Okay. Well, the Keys Mac welcomes all of you here tonight. We're going to be getting into the public comment period. Matters under the jurisdiction of the MAC and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public at the beginning of the regular agenda and any off-agenda matters before the MAC for consideration. However, California law prohibits the MAC from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the MAC. Any member of the public wishing to address the MAC during the public comment period shall be permitted to be heard once for up to 5 minutes unless the chair of the MAC sets a different time limit. And any member of the audience desiring to address the MAC on a matter on the agenda, please raise your hand at the time that the item is announced by the MAC chair. So, we'll go into public comment. Anybody wants to address the MAC, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Roy Winters. I've only lived on the corner of 9th and Lizzie since 1946. And I'm glad to see the people that are here. How many people have seen the flyers around town and that's why you're here? Good, thank you for coming. There was a lot more last time, and there could probably be some more coming on in. But we had a meeting a few weeks ago that we didn't have enough to have a legal meeting, so we just had a conversation. So this meeting tonight is to make up for that meeting. Okay, so thanks to all the other departments that are here, but I don't really see the sheriff and CHP. I see Public Works and something else. But anyway, usually they're here and they may still come in. I'll go ahead and get to one of the things I've been trying to get is our county supervisor here, which I've been getting both ways on this. I thought it was Chance Condit, and when I call them, they tell me, no, it's Vito. And so now it's back to Chance again. But I want to get him here personally if we can, and I've been trying to do that. And so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, let me go ahead and get on to my list of things that I've been talking about for the last couple of years. And number one on my list is always and always will be, we'd like to get a 24-hour sheriff in town. Now let me go over that. We don't need a substation like we used to have down here at the grocery store, where they can go sit and have them call them. If we have a sheriff in town in a patrol car, that's his office, that's his place of business, and he should have a phone that anybody in town has that number to call him, and he can be anywhere in this town in a minute, or probably under that. So we need to have that. Now they say, oh, well, Keys don't pay enough taxes to have a 24-hour sheriff in town. I beg to differ on that one because I know how much taxes I pay, and we've got all these new houses over here, and I'm sure they pay a lot more than I do. I'm pretty sure the county's got enough tax money out of Keys to have that. Now, they say that we probably couldn't have 24-hour sheriff in town. But like the sheriff, probably have 8-hour shift, that's 24. If we can get 2 of those at a certain right times of the day when all these crimes are being committed, and I'll get over that. But as long as here's what we want. We want the people in town who are actually committing these speeding and all crimes, okay, to know that there's a sheriff in town, that he can be wherever he needs to be in a minute. That's what we're after, to curb all this speeding, donuts, just anything, any kind of crime, okay? And people in town need that number. They can call him in the car, he can get there. There's another thing about all that. Yeah, how are you gonna do that? Well, that's the sheriff if we come up with the phone deal on that. All right. We want that because of all the speeding, running the stop signs. I'll get into that stop sign here again in a minute with Public Works. But, because you all know what's going on with the roads. And just all these things that you already know about, speeding, running stop signs, doing donuts, and just loud noises and guns and bombs and everything that's been going on for the last few years, we need to curb it. So we can have at least a place to live and not get disturbed. And so that's what we're after, to have that sheriff in town as much as possible. And we used to have, years ago, we had sheriff presence a lot. And of course, back in my day, in the 50s and 60s, we didn't have all this kind of crime either. We don't remember anybody just getting shot out in the street. That's crazy nowadays. So, okay, on to the next one. I don't know where you all live. I live about 3 blocks from the freeway. Back in the early 60s, when the last time they went through and took half of the block of the town away and did the new freeway that you see now, they had the oleanders before that. We didn't get the sound wall like they do at every other town along the freeways. This is a bedroom community. We should have had that from Keys Road to Phaeton, okay? Why we didn't get it, I don't know. I've been talking about that, and that's where our county supervisor comes in. He can get the Caltrans and let's work on that. I don't know why we shouldn't have that. Every other town up and down the freeways got those. They put them in when they put the freeways in now. Why they miss us, I don't know. So that's one thing. Because the traffic in the morning, 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, weekdays, or just about any time now.
Right now.
You can open the door and listen to it right now. But anyway, wakes you up. I'm retired now, I don't need to be woken up anymore. I don't get up at 2 and go to work anymore. So that's another thing. If the supervisor was here, like I'm talking, then I'd be on him to get with the Caltrans to get going on that. Not 2 years from now, and I've been going on this ever since I've been coming to these meetings. That right there, every time something I say pops in, I gotta say it before I forget it. And one of the things that we don't get a lot of people here is because every time I ask somebody, they say, well, it's just a waste of my time, nothing ever gets done anyway. I'm sure you probably know about that. But the deal is, if we keep coming, bring people more and more and more and talk about all these things, maybe we'll start getting something done. That's our hope anyway. All right, on to the next one. The county, a few years ago, took over the cleaning up of the alleys around town. And those alleys are for the fire trucks and TID and all those people to be going out through there. But if they get trashy and they get cars parked and refrigerators and stuff, that's crazy. Back in my day, everybody took care of your own backyard on the alley, across your property to the middle of the alley. We never had that problem. Now it's ridiculous because the county took it over, said they're going to do it. Well, it ain't getting done. We need them to get on it again. So that's another one for the county supervisor, I guess. Or maybe Public Works has something on that, I don't know. The other thing about that is the fire trucks need to go down it. If you've got a fire back in the back alley of somebody's property, they can't get in there. And used to, a few years ago, before the new station now, the fire department would run around town and give notices to people to keep your alley clean for good access. Well, since the county took it over, that's kind of like, what's going on? Okay, that's another thing, goes to county supervisor or whoever to address that situation. I see these roads here. We didn't ask to get the slurry all done, but it got done. So the way they did that, that's fine. We understand you need to seal it for the rain that's going to be coming. But the deal is, people don't understand why they grinded all the paint off. Don't understand that. I understand they're going to be putting it back on again, but wait a minute, it's been a month now since the slurry's down, and I see just a couple of places where they're putting down stop on the road and maybe some lines. Those little things that they stick around kind of helps you guide yourself, but they're not adequate, they pop off. And so here's what I'm bringing that up for. We don't have anything on the road now that says, here's where you stop. You got a stop sign there, but right now, these people running down all these streets are not stopping at the stop sign. It's like they don't even exist. A good example is I stand on my corner, they come flying around there now. It's worse than it was last month because they don't stop at that stop sign because there's nothing on the road telling them to stop.
That's right.
I don't guess they know what STOP means. They got some other, I don't know, whatever. And the other thing is, I was down at Faith Home, you know, where Order Crossing is, that stop sign coming into town. I'm parked there by the upholstery shop. I had to wait a long time to get out of my truck because the cars coming into town weren't stopping. I'm looking and I said, okay, he's gonna stop and he's gonna be coming close to me. And so 5 cars behind him, everybody just went right on through it like there weren't no stop sign. I mean, come on. There's nothing on the road there that says stop. He's gonna tell us about that in a while, I think. All right. So that needs to get done quick because it's getting worse and worse. People are gonna get run over. I'll let that one go now. I think everybody knows what I mean. Okay, the next one is, well, I already said about, a lot of times they say, oh, Keys don't pay enough taxes to get these things, some of these things done. I'm saying BS on that because I don't know how much I pay. And if you live in town, I think you know how much you pay on taxes. Okay. One real quick thing for him here because it pops in my head. I know they're trying to put the lines out here on Keys Road where we come off on Nunes. I've been talking about this before. It used to be when you're coming westbound on Keys Road, you had a little bit of a turn lane to get off on Nunes. You know, that disappeared here a couple years ago. And so that makes it dangerous because you got people pushing you and trucks pushing you, and you want to turn there to come into town instead of going down to the light where everybody stopped already anyway. And so that disappeared. We need that back. And there's plenty of room there on that corner to have all these lines. Now they did put one eastbound to turn on Nunes. That's fine, but there's still plenty of room there to have all 4 of those lanes. And you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And if anybody else comes that way, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So that's something for Public Works. Oh, here's a good one. It comes to CHP, and he's not here, I guess, right? But I'll mention it anyway because the trucks aren't allowed into town except for on 7th Street. Okay? But the one I'm concerned about right now is keeps going on, and that's the Dollar General truck. For some reason, he wants to come over and get around 9th Street, 2 blocks away from Dollar General, come up to my corner, Lizzie, and make a turn and go back down to 7th. You don't need to be doing that. And one day I was out there and he came around the corner, and okay, fine, but there was a Bobtail Dollar General truck behind him. So I said, oh, okay, great, let me kill these guys. Took it on myself to police him. I went out the road to get him to stop so I could tell him, hey, you guys need to stay off here, you're gonna get a ticket. But he didn't stop. That pissed me off. You know, all he had to do was say stop, and I'd tell him that and go on, but that didn't happen. So that's just another pet peeve that, too bad my brother Fred's not here. Okay. Here's the last one, and I'll let somebody else have it. I don't know if anybody else has got notices in the mail about this one, but I wanted to bring it up because I get these in the mail, and it's about Newsom wants to have Stanislaus County a sanctuary county. You want illegal aliens, all kinds of people living next door to you or in your town or on the streets or whatever. That's what this is about. So when this comes up, I hope you understand it and vote no on it, that you don't want sanctuary city in Keys, Modesto, or Stanislaus County, or California at all. But of course, Frisco, now I guess you know what's happening over there. So that's it. I wanted people to be aware of that. But all of a sudden you got all these illegal aliens in your town, taking over your house. I don't know if you heard about that in Colorado, where they took over an apartment complex, the people lived and kicked them out. I guess it was a gang from Venezuela, It's a true story. Trump told about it. And so that's what's gonna happen if we allow it. So, there you go. Thank you. And I'm sorry it took more than 5 minutes, but I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a couple of, just to answer a couple of the points that you raised. First thing, that letter you've been getting about the sanctuary city,
Yeah.
that is not a government letter at all. If you read it carefully, it is a private group soliciting memberships. So they're trying to get money from you. So if you do get a letter, read it very, very carefully.
Yeah, I understand that.
There is no government vote currently pending anywhere in Sacramento.
Well, I just want people to be aware that that's what's going on.
Okay, yeah, we all know, we
But
all know.
I do know that the governor of this state wants to make Sanctuary City out of this state.
Okay.
So I want people to realize that.
Okay, now, the second thing about supervisor. Unfortunately, at the last realignment, the community of Keys was split. Faith Home Road out there is the borderline. If you live on one side in the Starlight development where I live, Chance Condit is my supervisor. But most of Keys is still Vito Chiesa's district.
No, I don't think that's true.
No,
No,
that
it
is true.
It's, yeah.
Okay.
We have both.
Really?
So,
Yeah, we have
We
both.
have two supervisors.
Yeah, it was done at the last realignment.
I want Vito back then.
So I spoke against it at the Board of Supervisors when it went down, but unfortunately, you know, you gotta draw the line in the sand someplace, and we lost on that one.
no, I didn't lose on that one. I gained, because now I want both of them in here.
Well, that's true. Well, it gives me two, it gives
And I want
me
them here at the same time.
well, we'll work on it.
So that's what I'm gonna work on.
Well, I'll talk to
You heard what I said, every
I
time
know.
I call, I get the runaround, oh, it's him, oh, it's him. And so just today, I got another runaround, well, it's Chance now.
They don't know where you live, particularly when you're calling them.
Give them
Well,
different
that don't
addresses
matter.
every time you call.
No problem, we'll get them both in here.
Well, let me
Both of
talk,
them.
let me
You
talk
don't
to,
show up,
let me
yeah,
talk to him at the
guaranteed.
next supervisor.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
all right.
somebody else is
Right,
here.
thank you, Mr. Winters. Anybody else?
I got a quick question on that point. Where is the line at from Keys to Ceres?
Depends on what district, water district, school district, fire district, it all
So that
depends.
where you live at, that's the other supervisor, that part of it. Faith Home splits it down that way.
That is correct.
So how far down where is Ceres at? Because I was told once upon a
The
time.
border of Ceres, the border of the Ceres is actually further down near where all the new shopping development is. See,
So Keys goes all the way down to that point then?
yeah, it's just that where I live in the Starlight is handled by the Ceres post office. So I have a Ceres mailing address,
Okay,
but I'm in the community of Keys.
okay, that makes more
Right.
sense. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. Anybody else? Anybody else? Public comment. Here's your chance to. No? Okay, well, moving on. We'll go to approval of minutes for July 18th, 2024 meeting.
I read the minutes fresh off the printer and I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
First and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay.
Takes care of
Minutes are approved. Okay, monthly reports. So we'll go to Stanislaus County Sheriff's Department. Nobody here. Okay. California Highway Patrol is not here.
So today conflicted with the South Modesto Max DNB meeting,
Yeah.
which is why we weren't able to get as much participation. I know that the regular sheriff who normally attends the MAC meetings had a conflict, and so he sent a representative, but he had to leave
Okay.
immediately. So I did speak to the CHP. He had a very short update. I won't be able to answer any questions, but I can take the questions, ask, and then get them back to you if you have any questions. So he said that the special enforcement unit started 2 to 3 officers that are going to work traffic complaints only in the unincorporated areas. So there's 5 total, but there's 3 that are on at all times. So they handle they're only gonna be handling the traffic complaints. So that's additional staffing. And so they'll be here at the beginning of their shift. They get a list of all the complaints and then they work on them on top of all the regular patrolling that they're doing. So that was, I guess, a concern that was brought up last time, and that was.
Does that mean they're handling from the office, or does that mean they're handling?
No, they're out.
They're
Yeah.
in town.
They're in the unincorporated area, so not just Keys, but they are
Surrounding
2 to 3
But you have
additional.
to file a complaint so it goes to the forms.
Yes, Yeah, so that they're on the list and then they can go attend to those.
I'm sorry, what agency are you?
This is, I'm with the Stanislaus County CEO's office, but I have a report from the CHP.
Okay, CHP, correct.
Yeah, who I just saw at the other meeting, I left early to come
And
here.
to file a formal complaint for traffic violations would be through the sheriff or through CHP?
CHP for traffic, yeah.
Thank you.
very much.
So since CHP is gonna be involved in the crime in Keys, you call CHP, not the sheriff's, right? Fast response?
I believe if
Is there
if you
any
just
time?
call 911, they'll route you to the correct law enforcement agency.
I think what they're gonna be handling, like if there's a burnout and you get the
Yeah.
license plate and they drive off, you call the non-emergency CHP, you give them the license plate, they would come out the next morning or the morning after and follow up with the reports. That's what this new task force is doing.
It's additional to the other patrolling that they were doing just for traffic complaints.
So they'll probably be passing through if they're doing
Mhm.
complaint stuff. But if you have an address or a vehicle that's parked illegal and you turn it in, a highway patrol's not gonna come right away unless it's an emergency, but then they'll pick it up the next morning by this new crew, correct?
My understanding.
To your knowledge, they also handle abandoned vehicles, or is that more of a sheriff complaint?
That should also be CHP.
That's also
for the most
CHP.
part, Yeah.
Is the portal on the Stanislaus County website or more so the CHP.gov?
No, that would be through the CHP, and I believe you have to call the non-emergency line.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to check to see whether you can report that online or not. I'm not sure actually on that, but I can check on that.
Don't want to type emergency
Yeah.
response.
Exactly.
So it's actually my first time here, right? My wife's first time here. We've been residents for like 20 years or so here in Keys. But going back to this question about having the CHP or sheriffs in town or on the clock, what's the steps? I mean, I know he said, to me, I like this idea. Now, where do we sign or how do we get the ball going?
And I can speak in years past, I've been on the board a long time. In years past, there was extra duty. Both sheriff and highway patrol are understaffed right now because all the retirees and just, they're going off to other districts. But in years past, we used to have a sheriff that would work at nighttime and a highway patrol working the day. They called them community liaisons, and they were the ones that came to our meetings. But with the staffing issues, it's really hard to get designated deputies. So
Even
it's,
if we get a vote and we get the signatures?
if there's no staff, there's no staff. It's like going into Walmart, if there's no cash registers, there's no cash registers. So both highway patrol and the sheriffs want to serve us, they don't have enough deputies, is my understanding.
Although I did hear a really great update at the Wood Colony MAC last night, where the sheriff's department's almost fully staffed, so they're getting there. And so they're getting there, and then they'll have additional staffing for all the unincorporated areas. So they are working on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I can bring something up. A long time ago, maybe you can answer it, Jeff. We used to have people in town that worked, remember, in their cars patrolling the town and worked with the sheriffs.
That was the STARS program, and I don't know how the STARS program is still going on or anything about that. But again, even when Davey was in the STARS, when my house got broken into, they couldn't do anything.
Right, but
They
at least
gave me a business card and told me to call the sheriffs. And I was like, high five.
But to be a presence though.
Yeah, and my dad used to be on it too, and he would call the sheriffs right then, and he would be like Roy, if somebody's there, he'd hold them until the sheriffs came. And so that was good, I thought.
All right, okay, moving on, fire district.
You gonna make him present?
We have the chief
He
here.
wanted to watch me
We're gonna stay at the
Chief and
concert.
his assistant.
You should have stayed at the concert, it would have been better.
So, for those that don't know me, Raj Singh, I'm the fire chief here at Keys. Just a couple updates. We had our pancake breakfast last weekend. Very successful again for our firefighter association, so thank you for everybody that came out. Our bond measure, the votes aren't all counted yet, but it is still looking good. So again, thank you for the community support. I know some of the feedback from other community members is like our bond compared to all the other measures in the county, ours was very high. So again, that's just the support that you guys provide for us, so greatly appreciate it. Calls for service last month. We had 80 calls for service, a little bit higher than normal, a lot of medical aids, and then we had a couple calls that came in as reported structure fires. Thankfully, they weren't that bad, so if you guys, I know following the Keys community or Key City News social media side, people are like, hey, what's all the sirens? What's all the fire trucks, right? So on our first alarm structure fires, we have mutual aid coming from 5 different departments. So just so we have that manpower, if it is an actual working structure fire, we can attack it aggressively. So when we get those calls and you see fire engines from Ceres, well, it's Modesto now, but Ceres, Houston, Turlock Rural, Denair, all coming this way. It's because we've changed our response protocol, so we get all of that response right away coming to our calls. And then the last thing for us for next month, we're continuing with the Operation Santa Claus around town, basically fire truck with Santa Claus on top. So the dates tentatively, depending on weather, it's going to be the second week of December, the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. So our routes are probably going to change. We added an extra day because towns get a little bit bigger. Our guys were, walking the whole neighborhood for 3 hours, kind of got tiring on it, guys. So we're adding an extra day. So we're going to change our routes. The goal is to go down every single street. So, we're a small enough community, we can try to do that. So.
And they love fresh cookies when you go by.
No, yeah, that distracts our guys. You got to keep moving. So, any questions for the fire department?
Do you have to run the siren the entire length of the entire street when you guys go down it?
So we have that concern. Has somebody? I don't know if you brought it up. Somebody had brought it up to our station. So we did talk to the guys like, hey, if you don't have to, don't do it.
I mean, they're caroling too along with it, aren't they, or are they not?
You're talking about when we're doing the Santa Claus thing. So we stopped doing. Yeah, we stopped doing that, and we got a complaint that like, hey, I didn't hear you guys, and so we went.
I mean, I understand you couldn't hear it, but last year you could hear it.
Yeah,
like, I know you're coming, where you at?
We'll let the guys know to watch it. But just to point on that, what you had said, I think what he had said earlier is we've noticed we've had some very close calls with since the road's been slurry and no stop signs. We've been driving and cars are just running, through the stop. And again, our guys have made that mistake too because they're just like, oh, there's a stop sign here. I didn't realize it. So at night, until the stop signs get painted, at night you will hear our sirens blaring through town just to kind of give that heads up. So if you guys see that, notice that difference. Right now, our guys generally don't turn the sirens on when they're driving at night until they get kind of in the outskirts. But we've had just too many close calls in the last.
I'm not trying to deter from any emergency whatsoever.
No, for sure.
Santa Claus is an emergency.
We do that, and then when we do the graduation, we play the siren quite a bit. So, but any other questions for the fire department? All right, I'm gonna take off. I gotta feed him still and get him to bed. But if anybody has questions, again, feel free to give me a call, stop by, and pay us a visit.
Question: What are your in-station hours? Or do you have any?
I don't. So so we have one full-time member who's a Monday through Friday. He's a 9 to 5, and everybody else in our department is a volunteer. So we all have other jobs. I don't know if I should say this, but in my normal day-to-day jobs, I work for the sheriff's department. I'm a detective assigned to the arson bomb unit, so I handle arson bomb cases. Prior to that, I was a community deputy in Denair. And as our staffing levels were improving, we have community deputies again for the sheriff's department, but they're not community specific. So my area was Keys, Denair, and South Turlock. So kind of a large area. So, I tried to, for me, Keys was kind of my area. So, because I'm fire chief here, so I kind of took extra efforts here, but I know those guys, their workload is pretty heavy for, like one guy has like 4 or 5 communities up north. One guy has the entire west side as far as community deputies go. So, but we are improving those staffing levels. So the goal eventually is to have Denair have its own community deputy, Keys have its own community deputy. And I should mention with our bond measure passing for the new station, a couple things we are doing. We're working with the water district. They're hoping to expand and do a new building. Both Ernie and I have been in talk with the sheriff's office, for me, my boss, to say like, hey, we're in the process of designing a new building. If you want an office space, workspace for a deputy, like a station or something like that, let's make it happen, kind of thing. So he is interested. I know he has told me specifically. He's like, that's not something I could probably fill right away. He's like, so I don't want the community to have a false hope, like, hey, there's a sheriff's office here, but it's not staffed, right? So, but I mean, the timing's perfect, right? We're gonna build a new building. Why can't we just give you some square footage to have room? Ernie's had that exact same conversation. So I think in our plans, we will have workspace for both the highway patrol and the sheriff's office. It'll be just up to them when staffing allows to put somebody there, or put their infrastructure in, but the
Again,
goal.
when they're welcome, they're gonna come use the restroom.
Yeah, and they do that now, yeah, they have our
They're
drone
they're
codes.
gonna be more local with the new firehouse.
Yeah, so that is the plan. So we're trying to incorporate that infrastructure now, so when the time is appropriate for the county, then it's like that part of it's already done, so. But yeah, we're trying to make things happen, at least behind the scenes.
There
So.
we go.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, Stennis Moss.
Good night, Junior Chief.
Public Works.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elliot. I'm from Stanislaus County Public Works. And, sorry for the inconvenience of the slurry seal stuff going on. It looks pretty good. I'm not sure when all the lines are going to be finished. Everything's scheduled. I tried to go contact our traffic engineer to find out more about it today, and I wasn't able to get a hold of him, but I know it's in the works of everything getting done, and as you guys noticed too, Keys Road got paved from the highway to Gear Road, and we're starting to do all the lines and stuff on that also. So yeah, we got winter coming, and got the road sealed, so I know it's very important to get all the reflectivity and stuff down, and you just guys have to be patient, and everybody hopefully can just slow down. And you know, everybody knows where the stop signs are. They haven't been moved, but I know having that reflectivity and all the new lines are going to look really nice. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
I got a question on that. People that come around town that try to avoid that traffic on southbound 99, those are the ones that are concerned with coming through town, that don't know there's a stop sign coming in by Faith Home.
Right.
And they see the car ahead of them go through. So they just follow suit, like my dad was saying.
Yeah.
And so they don't know because they don't live here. People that do live here do know that, and they're like, well, these people aren't stopping, you know, they're like that. So it's really a safety concern.
Right.
My other thing is, it's the same company that's doing the lines on Keys Road, the painting there, are they the same company
I'm
that's
not
doing the in
100%
town?
sure about that. I don't know. You know. But the stop signs are reflective, and they are there.
Doesn't mean everybody pays attention to
Right,
that.
I
If they see a car go through a stop sign and don't stop, no brake lights, they're.
I believe that they've started. They
Any
just
temporary equipment, right?
temporary like tape and stuff like that.
Reflectors, like at the stops?
Yeah, I can look into putting some kind of temporary stuff down. And,
Will it mess up with the road or anything?
well, they'll have to peel all that stuff off before they go and put the new
Or just
stuff
some
in.
A-frame setups with little blinkers at the stop signs, dead center on the street? Just
Yeah.
like-
We'll put a big stop sign in the middle. That usually works. You know,
Yeah.
It's silly, but it's in the middle to distract you.
Sandbag, yeah.
Hopefully it will get painted.
Yeah.
You say the schedule, that you don't know exactly when.
I don't. Well, like your dad said, you know, they've started. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot to be done. You know,
Yeah.
So.
Whole town.
Yeah, the whole town. A lot of stops, a lot of bars, and a lot of lines. So.
Yeah.
I just, something popped in my head, it's on public work. Years ago, we didn't have any stop signs in town, but everybody knew that north and south was running, and the ones east and west, you always watched out. We didn't have too many wrecks, but you did have, you know, because somebody went a little too fast. But here's where I'm at on this one. On 7th Street right here, we got stop signs from Munis. We got them at the post office, we got it here, we got the next one. Then the next one is where all the businesses are and all the taco trucks. There's not one there. That's where you really need a stop sign on 7th Street. So put that on your bucket.
Yeah, or you can call the office and
well,
you know.
I can, but you're in there a lot better than I am. So maybe you could put a plug in on that one. That's a simple thing to do, dig a hole, stick a stop sign in. So, you know,
There's a lot of rules where stop signs go. We've fought to get stop signs put in for years, and sometimes we get them and sometimes we don't, but.
well, maybe I ought to get my brother, he got one over there on.
He's the only one that's been able to do it, honestly, that's the truth of it.
I know. Well, he knew somebody. All right.
Yeah, so if you guys have any flooding concerns when the rain comes, 525-4130, there's a Stan Connect app you can put on your smartphone. You can go on your smartphone if there's, you know, like homeless trash or flooding problems. You want to make a note for a stop sign, or you have an idea like that, you can go on there and make a request, and it's a free app. If you see a stop sign that's knocked down, graffitied, anything like that, you can go on the Stand Connect and make a note.
That's a good idea. I think they knocked that one down there, 7th Street and by the stores.
And if you don't want to get on the app, you can just call the 525-4130, call Public Works, and just say, hey, there's a stop sign knocked down at this corner. And
Yeah.
I recommend the app because it'll send you an email once it's been viewed, it'll send you an email when they're working on it, and it'll send you an email when it's been completed. So there's a much better track record, and you have some proof if something's getting done or not.
But
With the
some
app.
people don't use the app,
Yeah.
and we have office staff that will put it in the computer, and we'll make a note of it. Any questions? But I'll look into getting some kind of blinking lights on the stop signs, or try to find out some more about the scheduling on the rest of the pavement markings.
And what about the line going down in the road?
The single yellow? Is that a single?
The pump, the sewer, or whatever it is they're gonna put in that road. They're gonna cut a hole in it and put a pipeline out to that trailer park.
I'm not sure, because they just fixed it.
Well,
Is
they
that what
just
you're
slurred
saying?
the road, but they didn't fix the road. They just slurred it, right?
Right, but I believe that we paved or patched it
They did a whole
first.
bunch of patching on it.
Yeah, we patched
Kinda
it and then
just made it more
sealed it.
bumpy.
The water going down the cracks is what really ruins
Well, I'm
the
not
roads.
concerned with that, what they're gonna put underground, because they're gonna cut that road open again and put something in the ground there, all the way out. Isn't that what they're gonna do?
Yeah, well, he knows about that, right? Remember that one?
Oh, yeah, that's
That's what happened last October, right?
No, it was rescheduled, if
Uh-huh.
you'll recall, because we want to put another line going down Golden State. And
Oh,
we
that's
didn't want to disrupt people
Yeah, right.
twice, okay?
So that's delayed,
Right.
I understand. But that road is a little better. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we patched it plenty of times.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay, Keys Library, Alberto.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alberto. I'm the supervisor for the Keys Library. Right now we are in a pop-up location located in the Keys Community Center, 5506 Jenny Avenue. Just looking back, August, September, we had the Modesto Children's Museum. They came, they did a couple of programs for us. This was a way we can partner with the museum to kind of break that paywall, and so the community can enjoy some of the programming that's available. The museum is open, you can always visit in Modesto.
Don't jump them out there.
But it is, but you do have to pay to, in a sense, get in and enjoy all of that, so we just wanted to provide that. So we had two different programs. We had a roller coaster building, kind of a STEM building. They understood motion and how roller coasters work, and they were able to build their own. We also had a junior engineering one for the little ones, and we had about 10 people for each of those programs. In October, we had Python Ron. He came with his reptiles, and we had about 20 people for that. And just looking ahead, winter tends to be a little bit slower just because of the holidays and everything. We just have a winter reading challenge happening, starts January 1st all the way to February 14th. But that's all I have. Any questions in regards to the library? Thank you.
You got off easy.
Okay, anybody from PAL? No. And Supervisor Condit's not here. Let's implement one of the needs. Stanislaus County Chief Executive Office.
I don't have any updates today.
Okay. And Stanislaus Regional Transit.
Okay, that's me. I'm going to be attending a conference in San Jose next week, so hopefully I'll have more to share at the next meeting in January. We will have free rides all through the month of December, thanks to some grant money that our staff was able to hustle up. And
That's twice this year, huh?
yeah,
Yeah, that's great.
so that's working there. We're still served by the one route to 2019, which basically goes down 7th Street, heading toward Modesto, comes through about 20 minutes past the hour. Coming back from Modesto toward Keys, it comes through at about 50 minutes past the hour. So it's a great way to get around town. The system goes all over the county. Fare is $2 a day. It's regular fare. It's $1 a day if you're senior or disabled. And if you're an active duty member or a veteran, it's free. That's a nice benefit. So take advantage of it. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you very much. Stanislaus Behavioral Health and Recovery Services.
Good evening, folks. My name is Horacio Madueño. I am from Stanislaus County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, and I am part of the Stanislaus Mobile Crisis Response Team. Just here to talk about our program that's available to you folks. We're a mobile crisis team that's available throughout Stanislaus County. We respond to psychiatric crisis and substance use crisis in the community. We're a 24/7 based program that goes out and dispatches to wherever a crisis may be occurring, whether it's a person's home, schools. We respond to adults, children, anywhere where a crisis may be occurring in the community in Stanislaus County. We can be reached through two methods. We can be reached through our CERT access line and 24/7 support line, which is 1-888-376-6246. Option 4 is for the crisis team. It's also a resource line that you can call and ask about resources that are available in the community. And then the other way you can reach us would be through a 911 call. So if there's a security, criminal component, or a safety component to the call that may also have a psychiatric crisis or a substance use crisis, you can call 911 and they can actually dispatch our team. So we have two teams that respond, one with law enforcement, the other one responds to community generated calls, and you can access us that way. Like I said, we're available 24/7, and we respond to anywhere where a crisis may be occurring. The purpose of this team is to go out and assess the situation. If a person meets criteria, a clinician can enforce a 5150 hold for them to be placed on a psychiatric hold or substance use 5150 hold, where they would be diverted to a hospital and then diverted for services. If they don't meet criteria, we have a team of behavioral health specialists to go out, educate them on what resources are available and then how to access those services, hopefully get them connected to services or at least an appointment at the end of that encounter, and hopefully they can progress in engaging with those services. We do go out and educate folks on how to access and what's available in the community. And then for the month of October, we actually had about 23 community generated calls and then 69 total law enforcement referrals. Of those 23 community calls, about 30% ended up in an actual hold. Of the law enforcement referrals, about 21 resulted in holds, which is about 30%. So a total of 92 referrals, 28 of those actually resulted in hospitalizations, which comes out to about 30% of our engagements resulted in an actual psychiatric hospitalization. And like I said, the purpose of it is to reduce any unnecessary psychiatric hospitalizations or substance use crisis hospitalizations. So it may free up some beds in the hospital. We're also working closely with law enforcement to allow them to either leave a situation to get to criminal activity faster, and support them whenever it's something that we can take care of and kind of pull it off of their list of calls that they go out to. And that is it. Any questions? No? Okay. Pamphlets and cards are on the table with that information.
Thank you very much. Okay, now Keys Community Services District, have you got you have to run? Or,
From the 123 TCP, correct?
yes. 123 TCP. Yeah, right now at the present time, the district is as a contractor working over at Faith Home Road at Well 9, putting in some water water filters, and then also there on the property next to the Powell building on the north side. That's gonna be the centralized 123 TCP filtration. And they been doing mostly underground work at the present time. They are scheduled to have it completed by December of next year. What this filtration will do it's going to eliminate the threat of the chemical 1,2,3 TCP. Now, that's trichloropropane. How we ended up with that being our threat to our water system is that many years ago, Shell Oil and Dow Chemical used to sell fumigants to the farmers so that they could apply it to their crops so that they could kill off the nematodes, the worms that were eating their crops. Unfortunately, that chemical wasn't even necessary to do that, but it ended up with the years going all the way down and contaminating our aquifers. Okay, now for the longest time now, we have been with all the pumping that has been taking place, especially in these past drought years and the more wells that they've been constructing, it's becoming less and less. Case in point, our well 9 5 years ago, it tested for 1,2,3 TCP. Well, that chemical hasn't come back. It's non-detect, has been all this time.
Drink it all.
Well, however, the problem is you don't know with the groundwater gradient moving with the way that the water moves underground, we don't know if it's going to come back. So, in order to put in those filters, it was going to cost us about, let's do away with it, I'll just discuss it to them. We're having problems with the video. We're going to show where my staff and I went over to the project site and we did a video with an explanation as to...
It's on your guys' website, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's on your website.
And it's also on our website if you'd care to access that. And, but anyway, getting back to well 9, the project initially was estimated at 10.4 million, and we got that grant from the federal government, the EPA. With time passing and everything going up, as everybody knows, now that project has shot up to 15 million. We asked the EPA, the water boards from here, for additional money so that we could complete the project. They said, yes, fine, but you need to participate to the tune of 2.3 million because I think it was in 2017, 2018 is when we put a lawsuit on Dow Chemical and Shell Oil for contaminating our aquifer, and we were able to get, well, it was 9 million, but after legal fees, we ended up with slightly less than 6 million. Them knowing that we had that money in our coffers, they said, well, we want you to participate to the tune of 2.3 million. Now, because well 9 was showing non-detect for that chemical, we said, if the chemical doesn't come back and we install those filters at 2.3 million, we're just going to be wasting our money. So, but what if it does come back? If it does come back, we could end up paying through the nose probably twice as much.
And not be ready.
And not be ready. So, what we had is Mike Jones and Kevin Schoen came up with this idea that said, hey, look, we have issues with our arsenic plant, so that if our water storage tank will need maintenance in a few years, which it will, what are we gonna do to keep on providing arsenic-free water to the community? So we were either had to put in another tank somewhere, or figure out, we were even thinking of we have a main all the way down to Barnhart, close to Turlock. We were even thinking of asking, we even had a conversation with Turlock saying, if all of a sudden we need the water, can we hook up to you and you provide water? Well, we do the maintenance on our storage tank. Well, as it turned out, Mike said, you know what, let's use those filters for arsenic in the meantime. And that way, if we need storage, if we need to put our arsenic plant out of service, we can run it through those filters and continue providing arsenic-free water to the community. And if it were to come back, all we do is change out the media from the granular, go to granular activated carbon. And so now we change it out and we take care of the chemical. So that was an excellent thinking on behalf of Mike and Kevin. And so to me, I'm going to, every year through the districts, they always submit for candidates. They ask you to submit for operators of the year. And that's what we're going to be doing, because that was a brilliant idea that they came up with. So, anyway, that's what's happening right now. Anybody got any questions on that? Or anything else? No?
How's the current quality of the water?
The current quality of the water is excellent, with the exception of, like I said, that threat of the 123 TCP. But the water, we don't buy, at my house, we haven't bought bottled water for 2 years. Other than if we go on a trip, so we don't have to be filling containers or whatever. The water tastes great, and it's free of anything else. There's one of our operators right there, Kevin. You can ask him about the water quality.
He's only 30 years old too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin?
It's, like you said, the 123 TCP is over the MCL, but everything else is below the MCL. I drink it right from the wells. We got a water fountain out here that I drink out of. But I've lived here my whole life, and Roy's lived here his whole life too, and he's only, what, 34 now? So.
And here's what I want to point out, okay? For $1.73, we sell, the district sells, gives you 948 gallons of treated water for $1.73. If you do the math and divide $1.73 by that 948 gallons, it's less than a cent. For 1 penny, you can buy 5 gallons of our filtered water. So, if you think about it, 948 gallons will give you 241 cases of water at Costco.
You sure are a water guy.
Oh yeah, so to me, I mean, it's out there. There's people that, oh no, they're afraid of the faucet because they've heard all these horror stories everywhere. They're around us. As a matter of fact, if there was an article in the Modesto Bee a couple of days ago where Grayson and Wesley, they're struggling with drinking water. The water is, they're having problems at the school, and they're having to bring in bottled water. And no, we're blessed to Yes.
Is the water bill eventually gonna drop?
Yeah.
We're paying like 120, 140 a month,
Well,
and
the
we're
water,
hardly ever home, so.
no, well,
It's
here's
good,
the,
but it's really pricey.
Yes,
I
it
get
is.
the monthly
It's a
charges, the monthly charges are the ones that are set at 34.
97.
97. It's the water use that determines as to how high your bill is going to be.
But half that bill is sewage, also.
No, the
That's separate.
sewage, and here's where I have some bad news coming up on having to do with the sewage. Now, the sewage, you're charged $64 a month per resident, okay? And that's separate. Now, our wastewater goes to Turlock for processing. Turlock just sent us a letter saying, stand by because we have a huge increase in sewer rates that the city council adopted on October 8th and will take effect January 1 of 2020.
And they can pay for the new lift stations if they're gonna keep raising the prices.
Well, our lift stations are already paid for, so that's really great. We ended up paying 1.7 million for a new lift station.
How do you sleep
And they told us that our fees are going to double. We pay about $35,000 a month to Turlock. They've already told us that it's probably gonna shoot up to 70,000. So that's 840,000 a year. Okay, just to ship it over to them. Now, we do have, because of all the grants that myself and my co-workers have gotten here through the years, in the last 10 years, we've been able to get over $40 million for the community of Keys. And therefore, we have a very healthy fund in water and sewer. Michelle and I have been running some numbers to see what effect that's going to have on us. And we still haven't run them enough, but we still have about 3 million in the sewer fund. So I don't see us passing this on to you, at least not right away, until there is a study done, whereas it'll show, okay, here's your expenditures, here's your revenue, and here's how much money you're going to need, not only for maintenance and operations of the district, but also for reserves and replacing vehicles, equipment, buildings, utility, etc. Okay, so that's what is coming down the pipe from the city of Turlock. Anything else I'm missing that I should bring up going before the board?
No.
No? So, anyway.
Speaking of the board, when is the next scheduled Keys Community Service District Board meeting? Is it on the 26th?
On the 26th, it's at 6 o'clock in the evening,
Right
here. Yes,
Okay.
yes, and we never get an audience. I would love to see all you people also show up to the district, because, yeah.
Well, I've got some questions, so I'm
Sure.
definitely going to be there.
Good.
Well, yeah, that's could be posted for that board.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that date again?
The 26th, November 26th.
November 26th, okay.
Yeah.
He's probably giving you a fake one, so you show up to the wrong one.
Yeah, I want to make sure on that.
Okay, good. All right, well, then, if there aren't any other questions, we'll move on to information items. A, staff recommendation on GPAREZ APP number Patar Trucking, and that was going to be presented to the Planning Commission on the 21st of this month.
All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Jeremy Ballard. I'm a senior planner with the County's planning department. So as Ernie was saying, this is an informational item, so we're going to give you just kind of a brief overview and update of what's going on with this particular project. There's an item after this that's more needing a recommendation from the MAC. Marcus is going to give the presentation up. There are copies of the presentation over there if you haven't already grabbed them. So, well, that's kind of spinning up there. So, the project that I'll be discussing is a general plan amendment and a rezone application for Qatar Trucking. It is essentially they're requesting to amend the general plan and zoning designation of a 10-acre parcel from general agriculture to planned development to permit a commercial tractor truck parking facility with 80 stalls. The site is currently zoned A240, which is general agriculture. There we go. We got it behind you if you want to look at it that way. You can go to the next slide, Marcus. So the project site is at 4325 West Taylor Road between State Route 99 and Washington Road, and it's kind of on the Keys Turlock area as we kind of refer to it. It's all right. Those little mini slides are good enough. You can see some of
many slides.
Oh, let's go over here.
Should I restart? I can pass them.
Go for it. Might as well.
All right. Hopefully it'll work.
What TV?
So like I was saying, it's in the Keys Turlock area, so it's not within the Keys Community Plan area. It is in the Keys MAC boundary, so that's why the project has been referred to, and that's why we're here tonight. Hey. So it's that little triangle there. You can go to the next slide. So it currently has a general plan designation of agriculture, and you can go to the next slide.
What is there right now? Is it flat or is there?
Oh, let's take it to the second. Let's see. As a zoning designation of 1840, which is general agriculture, and go ahead to that.
Don't agree, you'll get some bill or something.
Yeah. There we go. So it's surrounded by scattered single-family dwellings, irrigated agriculture to the south and west. Best RV is to the north. There are some unpermitted trucking parking to the northwest. There's State Route 99 in the city of Turlock itself. Go to the next slide.
Is that right next to the veterinarian place?
Yep. Yeah, it's just to the east of that. So this came to us as a response to a code enforcement case for truck parking, obviously. They had started as a home occupation business license to allow for trucking. The county code allows that. You can have up to 3 spaces if you're the owner operator lives there. It had morphed over the years, and that's why code enforcement had gotten involved. As you can see, they've graded the site, they've gravelled it. There's numerous trucks being parked there right now. So based on the number of trucks that they're proposing to have, which is, like I said, is 80, they have to apply for a general plan amendment and rezone. It's not allowed under not only the home occupation license or a conditional use permit that would be allowed under
So they're in violation at this point of parking trucks?
Correct, yes. Yes, they are.
And are they renting the spots or is that just their trucking company?
It is their trucking company. So we can go to the next slide. This is a conceptual site plan. This is more of their landscape plan, but you can kind of see how it's going to lay out. So they're proposing 80 total spaces. The trucks will be owner-operators for one specific trucking company. The site will be accessible 24 hours a day. The applicant is proposing up to 12 full-time employees to report to the site daily. They'll be both for administrative duties and truck maintenance work. The hours of operation in that portion will be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There'll be no cargo stored on site, and there'll be no loading and offloading of product. The site, they propose to enclose it with a 6-foot tall chain link fence around the perimeter and then wrought iron fencing along the frontage there along West Taylor Road. There will also be proposed landscaping along the frontage there consisting of a mixture of trees, shrubs, and ground cover. The existing structures on site are a single-family dwelling and a barn. Single-family dwelling is proposed to be converted to an office, and the barn will be proposed to be converted for some light maintenance of trucks. So that's tire change, oil change, fluid checks, windshield wiper change. They're very limited on what they can do, and they're only proposing that. They're not proposing any body work or mechanical work. They're not proposing any advertising signage as well. So you can go to the next slide, Marcus. So as we process the application, there's a few issues that had come up that have been addressed as we've done processing the application. So first off, just kind of jump a little out of order. While the site's in the unincorporated area of Stanislaus County, it is in the city of Turlock's general plan area, in the planning study area, and it's designated as urban reserve. It's not in their sphere of influence, so at this point in time, there's no plans on annexation or anything like that. So like I was saying, it's kind of, the project site's kind of in that weird spot where it's in an unincorporated area in the Keys-Mac boundary, but the city of Turlock has it in their general plan boundary. So as part of the county's general plan policies, we referred it to the city of Turlock as well. They originally requested that a traffic study be done for the project, which was completed. Based on the traffic study, it found that the intersection at State Route 99 in Taylor is already heavily impacted, needs improvements. Based on that traffic study, based on their impacts, they have to pay a proportional share towards future improvements to that intersection. So that number was determined to be $111,484 that would have to be paid to the city of Turlock upon any type of issuance of permits. The city has also asked that if the project is approved, that development standards be applied to the project, including paving, landscaping, fencing, some additional screening along the eastern property line that goes along the Union Pacific that's kind of visible from State Route 99. They've also asked for additional fees to be placed on, basically citywide fees to be paid, and then standards for landscaping and signage. So it's a little complicated, but so based on the current proposal and what the planning staff has reviewed this project, reviewed it with against our general plan policies, our zoning policies, we are likely going to recommend denial of the project to the Planning Commission and the Board of Supervisors based on the fact that commercial development going westward across the Union Pacific Rail Line is not going to be compatible with agriculture ultimately. There's some other issues involved with that, but that's our general feeling right now. So while the city has asked for development standards, we have asked for development standards. If the board ultimately decides to approve it, those development standards will be applied to the project. As of right now, we're recommending denial. Some other aspects of the project that will be shared out with our staff report and when we present to the Planning Commission and the board, there'll be a discussion about the timing of required development if it does get approved. We're going to have requirements that building permits be submitted to the county within 6 months of project approval. They'll have a year after issuance to complete all project requirements. So that's the landscaping, the paving, the building permits to convert the structures, those things. Those things will be placed on the project and that time will be placed on the project if it ultimately does get approved. One other aspect in the staff report that will be discussed, and Marcus will kind of discuss a little bit more on the next presentation, but there'll be a discussion about the concentration or starting the concentration of truck parking around the 99 corridor, which I'm sure most people have seen if you've kind of driven in that rural areas around basically North Keys, Turlock, South Ceres. So right now, we can go to the next slide. We are actually going to the Planning Commission next week. That's why this is an informational item. We're likely going to publish the staff report tomorrow. So any incorporation of this discussion tonight would be a little too late to get into the staff report. We are, being this is a general plan amendment and rezone, it requires Board of Supervisor approval. And it has to be done within a certain time frame, so we'll be scheduled to go before the board on December 17th. The board has the ultimate authority here, so whether we recommend denial, the Planning Commission says we want to approve, the board can still say no, we're going to deny it, we're going to approve it. So that's kind of where we're at with the project right now. I've included my email address if you have any specific questions or some thoughts on the project. Essentially at this point, like I said, the staff report is going to be published very soon, so any type of emails or discussion items, would ultimately get included as correspondence to the planning commission and the board, or we, you know, if there's a discussion here tonight, we'll probably incorporate it into our presentation to both
But you can
bodies.
also reach out to your board of supervisor.
Absolutely.
We'll be hearing it also.
Yes.
So if this gets approved, I mean, we're gonna get these 80 trucks coming into Keys for service, right? You're saying small service?
They'll be off the freeway.
I know, but when it comes down to service, they're gonna be coming into Keys. I mean,
A lot of
already-
traffic.
That's a possibility.
already,
Yeah,
that's
we'll
when
be
you
like
come into
Walmart
Keys.
over there.
Yeah,
No, that's
come
gonna
around
be
Washington
getting
Road
stressed.
or it'll
Getting
be,
Keys.
yeah.
You're gonna beat up that whole intersection all over again.
Yeah.
Getting all these trucks lined up by Burger King down there and by Keys. I mean, that's
Right.
crazy.
When you look at the overpass at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that thing is packed
Yep.
all the way over the top,
Right.
both sides. And stop signs on top of the overpass makes it rough on traffic too. So,
So yeah, I mean, that's definitely understandable. The traffic study I mean, for one thing, there's gonna be,
To get off Taylor.
It'll be off of Taylor, yes, correct. And that was the primary
traffic is.
study area, was that intersection. And a lot of the distribution that was assumed was basically up 99, down 99, not as much going on surface roads. But yes, I'm sure there will be, you know, you guys have some facilities that cater to semi trucks, so yes, there's definitely going to be some probably usage there. But ultimately, if it gets approved, they're going to have to contribute towards at least that 99 Taylor Road intersection, and there'll be
Do they
fees
have
that
a
we.
time frame where they have to contribute to that? Is there a time frame?
Yeah, absolutely. So that specific fee, the fair share fee, that large fee I talked about, that has to be paid. It has to go to the city of Turlock because they are holding the money for that intersection improvement. There's no plans for it, but in the future, that has to be paid prior to them getting any issuance of any building permit or grading permit to do the work.
Has there been talks about the impact it's gonna cause on Keys overpass now? Because I mean, it's literally down the road, you see the.
Right. Like I said, the traffic study, the request was made from the city of Turlock, and they wanted the areas of intersection to be 99 and Taylor primarily. So I know they looked at it as part of trip ends, as part of the study, but they didn't discuss any direct impacts
So they
over a
had
significant amount.
considering that road is for traffic going to that new facility if they
What
want.
was that, sorry?
The study wasn't factoring in the surrounding traffic, especially with Just Culture of semi-trucks.
It does, but it looks at, so when they're highlighting the main impact or the most significant impacts for in the purposes of environmental review, they're looking at the Taylor Road.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, again, we'll be going to the planning commission next week. It's in the chambers at 1010 10th Street at 6 o'clock. If anybody would like to attend or watch, it's online if you'd like to watch it. Like I said, the ultimate hearing is going to be at the board, so there'll be 2 opportunities to come and watch.
Now, is there anything else in the works possibly for 2025 here near Keys Road? Because even this truck stop whole situation just really changed the face of Keys having that truck stop.
On Keys Road specifically?
Yeah.
I think he's talking about where they're gonna build a new outfit, Trias Trucking, I think he's putting in there.
Yeah, so you have Keys Truck Center at Noons in Golden State. There was another trucking operation that was approved last year, or the year before, just south of there, that I think they're starting to do the grading work out there, I believe.
That's just for parking.
Yeah, that one's just for parking. And then to the south of that, along the overpass there was a gas station
Two
and
fast foods.
2 fast foods approved.
In that
a year or
little
two
triangle
ago.
area?
Yeah.
On the right side.
Yeah.
Where's that side of?
On the freeway side.
So the on-ramp's coming down here, there's a little
Chevron.
parcel that's tucked in right there.
North of Chevron.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, on our side of Chevron. But they're gonna build the gas station first, which, once they start, probably take about a year or so. And then they'll start building 2 fast food, which they have no idea what it'll be. Could be Starbucks, could be whatever, but they'll build the soup as they go. And they had to pay a lot of money to rezone all that traffic.
They had to do a lot of improvements.
It was
yes.
like $250,000 or something to widen
Is that
the
for
roads.
next year coming up, or?
We thought they were already gonna start, so I don't know.
I don't believe we've got any applications submitted for the permitting of it.
Yeah.
I know that, especially in the last couple of years, it's
There's
taken
a
a
bunch
lot
of-
of time for people to get permits in because the designers are so backed up. And
There's a bunch of young guys putting their money together too,
Yeah.
so they were really complaining about the 250 for the road study and the widening of the road, because they wanted all the other places to pay for it, but the county held them responsible because they're making the impact.
Right. And we have two other rezone projects on the other side of Golden State, along that little kind of corridor between Nunes and Keys.
Old Dairy.
Yeah. They're still being processed. They haven't gone through, so that may come up in the near future in terms of coming out to the MAC to just discuss what the project is and kind of going to the planning commission. Those are both rezones, so they'll require board of supervisor approval as well.
But that gas station might be waiting for them to develop so they can split the costs.
Likely.
Because they were not happy about the 250.
But as far as that contribution, it's just a hold of money, right? There's no plans of when it could take 5, 10
Correct.
years.
So the Best RV project also had to contribute to that as well. I've had discussions with Caltrans in the city of Turlock. There's really no immediate future to do that intersection. They're still collecting money.
I'm sure the cost keeps going up off that. So
Yeah.
it's gonna make it even longer.
Based on the traffic study they did for this project that I'm here for tonight, I think the cost now is around 14 million. And yeah, it'll probably only go up.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I've
Thank
got
you, guys. Yep,
Yeah,
yes,
so
sir.
this is more of a comment/question. This is the second time this year that we've had someone being basically fingered out by code enforcement for doing something, and they never got the necessary permits. The previous one was the storage area north of Starlight where I live. So that leads to a bigger problem. How much of this stuff is going on through the county, and how is code enforcement trying to keep a handle on all that? Now, everybody's stretched for personnel. There's a lot going on, so it's not like we can have a code enforcement officer on every corner.
We used to 20 years ago.
Well, that was 20 years ago. So that still indicates that we still got an issue going on. People are just doing stuff and they're hoping they're not to get caught, and then they're asking for forgiveness
Right.
in front of the planning commission instead of actually getting the necessary.
Like as I said, they're already in violation of parking over there like they're doing now.
Yeah.
And are they getting charged for that?
They are. In most cases, there are fees that get levied on these parcels, and they have to pay them.
Is it per truck or is it because of the place?
It's
or-
probably a penalty on with the permit what it costs, correct?
Probably a lot more.
No, so with code enforcement violations, it's based on a kind of, yeah, they go out there and they write up a violation. If you haven't corrected it within certain days, then it just compounds.
So because of that issue, because it's agricultural land that they're parking on, per se, you have a truck that has a chemical on board of yeast spills on that property. What does it do to our land underneath, our water underneath?
So they will be responsible to go through the county's hazmat business plan to rectify any spills or contain any spills and come up with a business plan to do that in the future as well. So the part of this project, we referred it out to our hazmat department or environmental resources department. And I believe they've been in on some of the inspections with code enforcement. We haven't gotten any indication that is the case. As far as we know, these trucks are empty as they're being parked there. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Okay, moving right along to action items, approved 2025 meeting calendar.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting calendar.
I second.
First and second, okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, B, recommendation of UP APP number PLN 2024-0017, La Paulette Trucking.
Hi, Marcus Ruddix here, Assistant Planner with the County for to present use permit application PLN 2024-0017 LaFallen Trucking. Next slide. This is a request to establish a truck parking facility for 12 tractor-trailer combinations on a 1.27 acre portion of a 9.81 acre parcel in the General Agriculture 8240 zoning district. The proposed facility will include 12 employee parking stalls and 12 parking stalls for 12 tractors and 24 trailers. Trucks will transport non-hazardous dry goods consisting of almond shells, walnut shells, wood chips, and the trailers will be left empty when parked on site between trips. Go to the next slide. Project is located at 5601 Pioneer Road between East Keys Road and East Grayson Road in the Keys area. Next slide. Site has a general plan designation of agriculture. And next slide. And the zoning designation of general agriculture A240. And next slide. The project is just outside the Keys Community Plan area because it's just over on Pioneer.
Would they still be considered agriculture since they're moving to agriculture?
Yeah.
So that's what I was kind of describing earlier. So the one I presented, different because of the number of trucks.
And shippers.
And yeah. But we have an allowance within the A2 zoning district for truck parking up to 12 trucks, and this is what type of application Marcus has.
Yeah, this is a use permit for the ag zone.
Okay.
So the project site is surrounded by orchards and rural ranchettes in all directions, a nut storage facility to the southeast, the TID lateral, upper lateral number 2.5 canal to the north, and then Community Keys and State Route 99 to the west. Next slide. Project site is currently developed with a 3,800 square foot single family dwelling and attached garage, and a 4,800 square foot ag storage building, neither one of which will be used as part of the truck parking facility. Next slide. Currently, the project site has 2 existing gravel driveways onto county maintained Pioneer Road. And the applicant is only proposing to utilize the southern driveway, as you kind of see on the site plan, to access the truck parking area. And then the western boundary of the truck parking area is proposed to be enclosed with a 6-foot tall chain link fence. And then there will be a 6-foot tall hedge and single row of redwood trees around the other boundaries of the parking area to enclose it and screen it from the neighboring properties. Next slide. There are 5 other projects in process, applications within a 2-mile radius of this project site in the A2 zoning district. 4 of them are use permits, as you can see on there, on Barnhart, Service, Faith Home roads. And they would be limited to the same standards and conditions as La Follette trucking would be. It would be the 12 maximum tractor-trailer combinations, like Jeremy said. And a big thing that Jeremy had also kind of mentioned in his presentation, to approve this project, the Planning Commission has to kind of weigh all these projects in total, because section 21.20.030G2 of the zoning ordinance requires that the establishment of any truck parking facility as proposed will not create a concentration of commercial and industrial uses in the vicinity. And then the 5th project application and process is Batar Trucking that Jeremy just talked about, but that's slightly different because it's a rezoned rather than a use permit.
Just to clarify, that the project I did doesn't have to make that concentration finding. They don't have to have. There are other more difficult findings they have to make. The concentration finding is specific to truck parking in an A2 zoning district.
Those are all ag.
Correct.
So that property on Pioneer, it's gonna be really hard for even that tractor trailer to turn in onto Keys Road.
They're already doing it.
No, they're crossing over onto the incoming lane. That's the street that I turn in all the time. I go through Keys Road, make a left on Pioneer, but every time I gotta stop, pull over to the road, and they come across the whole intersection.
To come out, Pioneer.
There's no way, unless you do an intersection with streetlights in the whole night. Just like on 132 when they did the whole thing just for that one company.
Because this is an ag,
There's no way that trucks.
so to speak, parking area, still it's a big truck coming off of that road on Keys Road. Have they looked into any kind of traffic situation for that? Or
There's a drop down on each side of the pavement, actually.
Yeah, that's
Driveway on
pretty-
both ends, yeah, there's a truck. Yeah, so even that truck or car comes around, that whole semi's gonna lean over.
because that's an ag, with that type of parking, as you say,
And the traffic just
is
has
it
to
required to look
all
at
the
the
way
traffic
back.
situation of that area?
There wasn't a traffic study required as part of the comments we received for the early consultation environmental referral. And Public Works, I don't think they'd mentioned anything specifically about the turning onto Keys Road. It was mostly focused just on.
That's gonna be dangerous, you got traffic coming down Keys Road, just an accident waiting to happen.
So yeah, Public Works, we referred it to them, they reviewed it based on the number of trucks. They wouldn't have crossed their threshold to require a traffic study to get into the very nitty-gritty points of that. But this is good information, we can bring it back to our Public Works department to discuss that. They'll have to get an encroachment permit for that driveway, which will kind of even out any type of imperfections there for a vehicle that size. But in terms of the truck route itself and the turning on the Keys, we'll have to look into that.
The same thing from the Keys going into Pioneer, that car at the stop sign is gonna have to back up in order to let that car go in. And how's that gonna work,
Yeah.
Yeah, good to get the feedback, more stuff to look into. go to the next slide. So I'm here tonight because the project is scheduled for hearing with the Planning Commission on December 19th, 6 p.m. Same as Jeremy said, 1010 10th Street, basement level chambers. So I'm here just to kind of obtain community feedback and specifically just hear if the MAC has any comments on the project and if you have recommendations to the Planning Commission.
So generally speaking, this is an action item for you guys.
Yeah.
We would like to get some form of recommendation. We present that to the Planning Commission. You know, they give that weight, so it would be nice to have that.
And are you a owner or driver? Did you want to say anything?
I own the property.
Did you want to speak to?
I see the concerns, but we've tried to take measures on widening the driveway considerably more and would widen it more on the entrance and exit, so we wouldn't have that turnout.
And then what about on Keys Road, like?
On Keys Road?
Yeah, when you pull out.
Well, that is a tricky one, but we get trucks, because it seems like because that road's the first road to cut all the way to Houston.
Yeah.
We get a lot of morning trucks, a lot of afternoon trucks that have nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
So there is trucks coming. That even in a car, that intersection's a little tricky. You just get up there too far and you gotta back up.
Yeah, it's just, the property that's on the corner right there is pretty.
It's right up.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating right there.
Kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
And what's the planning commission looking at as approval?
We, as staff, we haven't, I don't think we've developed a recommendation yet. I mean, as we get feedback, we'll probably do that. But that is, I believe, will be one of the first truck parking use permits we've had in a while, and we'll have to speak to the concentration issue. That's why we kind of illustrated some of the other truck parking applications in the vicinity.
How many trucks are you using right now from there? Are you pretty much doing the same thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I will say that out of the 12 trucks, 7 or 8 are in the almond seasons.
Yeah.
Almond season. So they run
3 months.
They'll be parked 7+ months a year. So and then 4 or 5 of them would initially run every 5 days a week.
Yeah. Any other questions?
How many trucks are going to park on your property?
12.
12?
Yeah, 12.
So that's a limit.
Yeah.
All right.
I make if nobody has any, I make a motion that we approve this going to the planning commission with it brought up about the road getting on the Keys Road.
And I don't approve it.
That's your right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I'm like, I look at the mess over there coming into Keys, and that's just Walmart, Starbucks, that, and I'm looking at, we let trucks come in here. I mean, I was stuck there the other day, a week ago, like for 25 minutes, just coming into Keys.
That's because all the road work we had done.
Yeah, but
That had
still,
nothing
can
to
you
do with
imagine?
A person making a living with 12 trucks.
Sorry, I mean, yeah, this is my hometown.
It is mine too.
He did mention majority of the trucks he noticed were just Houston-related pass-by. He's just looking for a parcel to store his trucks majority versus for agriculture, and not denying your comment or letting your concern is very valid. Absolutely. But it seems like what his request is particularly kind of innocent, not necessarily contribute to the factor of the traffic.
Is it just for his property only, or is it the other 4?
We're only discussing one property tonight.
Right.
That's just
property there, or it's a site.
12 trucks, 5 trucks working a living wage.
Oh,
and
just yours then?
Yes, and then 7
Okay, I
trucks
thought
working
it
the
was
season.
all of it, and I'm like, I'm not.
We can't preach we want agriculture and not have trucks to run the agriculture.
Yeah.
Right.
We cannot preach that we want to save our farmlands.
Largest
I love our
GDP in the nation.
farmlands.
But we need him to move the produce. It's
His
12
request
trucks.
seems arguably very simple.
Well, I made my motion, so it's up to the chair.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. There you got the recommendation.
Thank you guys very much.
All right, moving right along. Correspondence. Do we have any correspondence other than what I got from Third Lottery? All right, moving on to council comments, suggestions for future agendas. Got anything, Josie?
Yes, I was gonna say, when are we gonna stop on the burrito trucks? Years ago, when we had the OMAC, we approved of having the burrito trucks. But now it looks like they're, like the one down at the corner, that it's a business. I thought the burrito trucks were supposed to just come and sell the burritos and go. It's now getting like it's a business. Are we gonna get another burrito truck coming and parking? And I don't know if they're paying taxes.
Of course they're paying taxes, they get permits, they get inspected by the food company. As a MAC, we don't choose what businesses come to our community.
No, but way back then, when it was the burrito trucks, we approved it, that the burrito trucks come and sell the burritos, but not plant their.
We have never made one approval since this MAC has ever been around that has mattered because we're advisory council only. It goes straight to the county supervisors.
I was on it in the beginning.
Yeah, so was I.
I was on it before you.
22 years.
Yeah, 25 years. Okay, another thing, we'll drop that then. Second was, I noticed at night, and I've been hearing from other people, can we put more lights in Keys? Is there supposed to be one like on every block? It gets dark on some of these roads.
Yes, we do have a master plan that we're working on, but the funds are limited, so we have to wait until we get enough money so we'd be able to do a complete project. Case in point, we did 10th Street all the way from the 5 Points all the way over to, was it Christine or whatever? And that project cost us about $300,000.
And we got the poles at a discount because you guys found them.
Well, that was Kevin.
That was the first phases.
But anyway, we're working on that. Our board president, Jonathan Parker, has been discussing things with me. He does want to see us moving on streetlights. So every year around February or so, we hold a public workshop for the district. In there, we discuss all the projects and ongoing projects that we want to take on, and that will be on the agenda. In the meantime, we're researching and looking at investing our money in California class. We've been making some money from there. I've also talked to our attorney that if a project costs too much and we do not have enough money there, that we can borrow money from the sewer or water fund and then repay it. So
that's what I was going to ask next.
So we're going to be moving.
Because the streetlights have their own fund, right? That's why we had all that problem years ago when we ran out of money.
But didn't we get that grant? What was that grant money for? Just for the water, not for the town?
It's different. It was for the water, not for the street lights. The street lights, Michelle can let you know that we have an annual assessment, don't we do? And how much
Yeah, the
is it now?
statewide assessment this year, we should be getting $74,000, but it comes in 2 installments off your property taxes.
So we just we just don't have enough to move.
That pays the power bill.
Okay.
Question on that. I know that Bright Homes is building phase 3 of their houses off of Washington and Norma area. I'm a little bit new to that area. When they plan and designate and get approval on that, there's a fixed number of streetlights there.
That's all through the permit process.
Okay, is there a way for them to be like?
It's a county-wide mandate.
Oh gosh, so it's out of their control essentially. And
yeah.
It's the minimum number per.
And then when they build permits on the roads, that's when the infrastructure has to be put in.
Gotcha. Well, I guess the tail end of my ignorance of knowledge from memory was just like, hey, can we charge them a surplus if you want to put a house there, put more lights there?
That would have to go through the county, and that would probably be breaking all their rules that they have set up for the whole county, right?
So there's, Public Works has standards and specifications when it comes to infrastructure improvements, specifically for subdivisions. So the lighting is covered within the improvement agreements that they do when they develop streets.
Gotcha. So it's a very large scale process.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Wasn't sure. Thank you.
Okay. I'll just basically add to it. Some questions have been raised tonight about water, sewer, and now street lighting. Those are specific to the Keys Community Service District Board and not this council. If you've got questions for those folks, come to the board meeting on the 26th at 6 p.m. I am not a member of that board, but I will be there because I got questions for them too. So if the meetings are now in the evening, more people can come. You know, come by and, you know, question them, ask them, introduce yourself, and just make your voice known so that, you know, they can take input from the more people. The people who speak are the ones that they're gonna listen to. So, come on by.
And that's here on the 26th.
That's right here on the 26th of this same meeting. You're
I
sitting
do.
in my seat, so.
Yeah, well, I'm not on the board, but I am the general manager for the district, so I play a big part in that.
Okay.
Anything else?
No,
Somebody, I think I heard my son mention something about that somebody talked about how Keys is growing and getting nicer, and it is, and we have a lot of projects ongoing, etc. And they were thinking that, hey, we don't have any welcome to Keys signs, like on Road or the other roads coming in. Any thoughts on that?
No, we have to go to the county because it has to be easements. We brought it up in years past and it was the cost of just actually building the signs. Was the issue. And then we kind of never go anywhere with the county because I can't even think of where there would be an easement to put one.
Well, years ago, on the 99 highway, there was a sign that said Keys, and then there became an O in front of it.
Okie?
Okies?
Oh, you did a joke. Winners, it's too late in the evening to get that joke.
That's when there was a lot of,
You sure know how to smooth the
peaches
beaches
around here
around
instead of mountains.
Okay. Anyway, they mentioned
Nobody else is
that
not
I thought I would be interested in putting a nice welcome to Keys.
I'm for it, but
One of the
it's-
taco trucks or famous or
That was Jeannie Sanchez on Facebook brought that one up. I make a motion to adjourn.
Are you in a second?
Wait. Winner's got something. Let's go, Winners.
2025, I'd like to have the dates for the next meetings all that year.
Okay,
she's got a calendar
They'll
that you
be,
can
I
get.
can email it to you, and I believe they're gonna be posted as well.
Okay.
It's gonna be the same.
If you've got them all right now.
Yeah, basically, it's the same schedule in
Third
January,
Thursday.
April, July, and October, be the third Thursday of each of those months at 7 p.m., just like we never did.
All right.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, it's your turn. Thank you very much. Yeah, we always don't have anybody out there.
Well, I think that's all.